is that your student probably may start out saying, I want to do this when I get done with high school. And it never stays that way, does it?
No. And my kids, even at college level, some of them tracked in different directions because they don't know everything when they're starting out high school. Now, I had one of my kids, my daughter, who didn't love academics, but she loved photography. From the time she was in 8th grade, she says, I'm going to be a photographer. And I said, you can't earn a living doing that. And she says, I'm going to be a photographer. And I'd say, you can't earn a living doing that. So we made sure over high school, she had different electives that gave her flavors of other careers. Yeah. So we, did early childhood education, and we did all kinds of different field trips that gave her ideas of other careers. Then she went to college and studied photography, and she's now a photographer. So she knew from the beginning. But my other kids have wandered along the way until they landed on the thing that was right for them. So yeah, so they may start out high school thinking that I need to do this. And then so you invest in that. And then another interest comes along that they just didn't know about before. But nothing is ever wasted.
So true. Yes, yes. And I think there's a good, flip there that you're talking about is don't allow your child to just do that one thing either, because that may not be that one thing. And so you gave your daughter the ability to see other avenues that she could explore, because what if she did get to the end and say, I don't like this at all, but she had through high school then enough experiences to say, I am definitely sure this is what I want to do. So, I think we can look at it from both directions. But yes, I've had them both as well. And my oldest son wanted to be in the military the first year. He wanted to do an underwater welding career the second year. And then the next year went into welding, which he did go to welding school his senior year. Came back from welding school and said, I cannot work with those guys. And so I said, well, then pray about it, because I don't know what you're supposed to do. And here's this student of mine as a junior was taking calculus classes, and I knew he was smart enough for college, but he needed some life experiences to get him towards that.
Yeah.
So, nothing, like you said, nothing is ever wasted during our high school years. And it's nice when we can allow them the ability to kind of flow with those interests and try things out.
And I think part of what's important is that teens very often do not believe in themselves. And so we do want to do some gentle nudging or inspiration. And to get out of the box and go on field trips and get involved in service projects and, try different, homeschool groups or church groups, not because that's their calling or because they love it, but because any experience is going to broaden who they are, and it will guide them. Like your son had the experience of taking some welding and found out the culture was not his thing. And the only way to know that is to try that. Our kids, when they do service projects that may not be, they're going to go be missionaries or they're going to spend their life, doing that kind of service, but it develops their character and their fortitude for things that may be challenging. Because, hey, I got through that service project, so, I can probably do other things.
Their character matters so much more than their academics. And when we get so focused on, these are the classes we need to teach our child, and we forget about the child, who then becomes an adult, and leave your home. Have you done good to them in raising them the way they should go? No. If we don't. Unfortunately, it's a sad statistic that a lot of homeschool kids have been even leaving the faith of their parents, just because we've been so rigorous about making them successful and proving that homeschooling works, instead of looking at our child that God gave us to raise for his glory.
Well, and I think that's important thought is also, you know, God has given our kids to raise in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. But as a teen, that raising looks very different than when they were elementary school or even middle school age, that we need to help them to draw their faith out and to ask questions. And teens very often will ask really hard questions. And I've noticed with a lot of the special needs kids, they've got big questions for God. And some of them we can't answer. And it's so tempting for a mom to say, I'm going to tell you how to think about this.
Right.
Rather than to sit with them while they wrestle and believe that God can get them to the other side. And so it's in character formation. We can't character form them from outside. We help God bring that out of them by love and experiences and being with, but that telling them how they're going to think is not as effective with a teen. But the kids who've learned more about wrestling ideas and trusting God to get to the other side of those wrestlings do much better as adults, you know, staying with the faith and defining it for themselves.
Well, because it's theirs. It's not yours.